Hi, this video will cover installing and configuring the GeoWebCache S3 extension. The extension can be used to create your cache on AWS S3 or any S3 compatible service, and we're going to walk through how to do that now. Okay, let's start by installing the extension. You can get the extension from the main GeoServer download page. Make sure you're using the correct version for your version of GeoServer. So the GWC S3 tile storage. I'm just going to go ahead and copy the URL and use wget to download it. You can just download it to your desktop as well. Okay, we want Tomcat to own these files, so let's go ahead and switch to user Tomcat. And then change to the GeoServer lib directory. Okay, and now we'll use the link we copied from the download page and use wget to download the extension. And go ahead and unzip it. Okay, and now we'll need to restart Tomcat to register the plugin. You can, of course, just download the plugin to your desktop and move it to the lib directory manually as well. Okay, and back in GeoServer admin, under tile caching, let's go to blob stores. Okay, and click the add new link. And for type of blob store, select S3 blob store, which should now appear in the dropdown. Okay, and let's give it a unique identifier. I'm going to call it my blob store. And for the bucket, I'm going to use the bucket I have here, GWC bucket demo. And now we'll need to enter our AWS access key and secret key, as well as an endpoint. I'm using HTTPS S3 Amazon AWS.com. And this is private, so I'm going to click private here and click save. Okay, and we see our blob store has been created. So now we can go ahead and select the layer or layers to cache to our S3 service. Let's do that now. Okay, and with our blob store created, let's go ahead and test it by caching a layer. Let's click on layers. And I'm going to select the spearfish elevation layer here. And on the tile caching tab, under blob store, we should now see our blob store we created in the dropdown. There it is. Okay, and as you can see, there's a large number of configuration options for our caching. We go into those more in our GeoWebCache series. For now, we're just going to leave all those at the default. And go ahead and save that. And under tile caching now, if we click on tile layers, we see that the spearfish demo is now using my blob store. Let's go ahead and seed that. Okay, and seeding the layer is not required. We can just rely on requests for the layer to create the tiles for us as needed. You're going to want to take a look, obviously, at the size and the number of tiles that's going to result from seeding the tile. We can also see it a subset as well. So let's take a look. Okay, and we see this can create about 2,000 tiles, which is fine. So we'll go ahead and see the layer. If not, we can just kill the task if it's too many tiles. Okay, if we return here to our Amazon bucket, let's go ahead and refresh. Okay, and we see that the layer has been cached to our S3 bucket. Again, this works with any S3 compatible storage. It can be DigitalOcean or your own mini-IO server, etc. And of course, you can add additional layers to that existing bucket, or you can create additional S3 buckets for your layers as well. And I've added the spearfish streams layer to this bucket. And as you can see, that's now being cached here as well. Okay, and finally, it's important to note that all the operations that you perform on GeoWebCache, you perform normally, whether or not the tiles are being cached on S3. All the functions here function the same, whether it's being cached locally or on S3. Okay, so to review, we began by installing the GWC S3 tile storage extension in GeoServer. We then went to blob stores and created our blob store. After our blob store was created, we went to one of our layers. We select a layer for testing, in this case spearfish elevation, and under tile caching we selected my blob store under the blob store, and then optionally we went ahead and seeded our layer, and again you can just rely on request to seed the layer. And for type of blob store, select S3 blob store, which should now appear in the dropdown. Okay, and let's give it a unique identifier. I'm going to call it my blob store. And for the bucket, I'm